That's right. The Mystery Encounters update is absolutely banging, and that would be an understatement, honestly. Hello, champion. My name is Knetterkoekje. Good to have you back, and if you're new, welcome to the channel. Today marks the day where PokeRogue became a lot more rogue, as in roguelike. And why is that, you might ask? Well, the Mystery Encounters update just dropped. You might have seen my PokeRogue beta video where we discuss a bunch of these mystery encounters, which are all amazing. My understanding was that the mystery encounters would be the highlight of this update, and it is, kinda, but there is so much more. The developers of PokeRogue are incredibly dedicated, and they receive a lot of negativity for their decisions, namely when it comes to balancing, which is completely undeserved, as they have absolutely cooked with this update, which came a lot earlier than expected as well. Remember, we just had 2 huge updates very recently. Let's cut the intro and dive straight into all the patch notes. First up is an overview of all the major changes. Well, the mystery encounters are no longer a secret, as we've already covered them in the PokeRogue beta video. Of course, some of them do remain a secret, because I haven't even seen half of them. They have also added a new evil team. Team Star has found themselves pulled in as well. With Team Star added, we now have a total of 10 evil teams. That's actually quite a lot. We also get daily mode improvements. Daily mode is finally getting some love, with a guaranteed map, random luck for each day's seed, and no more inconsistencies with the item tables based on unlocks. That's actually awesome. I think the daily mode was really something people were sleeping on. Lots of quality of life and smaller additions. Small improvements throughout Classic and for trainers. 7 new original music tracks, a large sum of balance changes, and loads of move and ability implementations. Yo, the 7 music tracks is hype. I'm definitely gonna play with the in-game music the next time I stream. They also added 85 plus new splash texts, which is basically flavor dialogue. I freaking love this, that's awesome. Now for the major changes. Of course we know about the mystery counters that have been added. Certain floors will now guarantee better items. Team Star was added. We get a lot of passive and egg move changes. Certain trainers will no longer have duplicate Pokémon. This is actually great, because the amount of trainers that had 2 or 3 of the same Pokémon were kinda rampant. We get an enemy AI improvement, and this sounds really cool, but it's really nothing more than the AI realizing that they have KO potential. But it's an improvement, so it's gonna make the game slightly more difficult, which I always like. Certain Pokemon evolutions changed. Now, they both changed some Gmax forms, and they changed the way you have to evolve a lot of different Pokemons. We now get 5 Pokerus Pokemons per day instead of 3. And lastly, the changes to daily runs. One thing that I think we will notice with the AI changes is a lot less awkward switching, which is a step in the right direction. Now that the game became even more difficult, hopefully all the mystery encounters will make up for it and will make it slightly easier overall to complete a classic run, because otherwise we might actually need a difficulty mode for people that don't like to try hard. It can't miss, we have X accuracy, love. Who are you, man? The challenge is finally freaking complete after like 20 hours of trying on flying across. I'm working on a masterpiece of a video that covers all the highlights from these challenge runs. You do not want to miss this, I promise you, it will be the most banger video I've ever made. If you want to get notified of this and future Pokemon related videos, there's only one option, and you know what it is. You gotta use your mouse cursor, as it's the only move that does super effective damage to the subscribe button. Thank you for the support. What? Where in the world did that come from? Either way, it's the truth though. But yeah, let's get back to the patch notes. Ogerpon and Terrapago's Terra-based form changes added. Trainers are more likely to have evolved Pokemon in later waves. That makes a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of baby Pokemon in later waves, which is kinda weird. Evil teams are tweaked. Whatever that is supposed to mean, but that sounds a little bit scary. Gmax Pokemon no longer have their max immunities, such as Flinch, Phasing, Encore, and Disable and Wait moves. Honestly, I didn't even know that Gmax Pokemon were immune to these effects, so interesting. Some Gmax Pokemon have been tweaked. Mega Rayquaza no longer requires Dragon Descent, I guess to evolve into Mega Rayquaza, interesting. New ice cave, plains, power plant, volcano, lake and ruins music. Removed species log from aura wheel and poison puppeteer. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by removed species log, but I guess other Pokemon can learn these moves now. Secondary fused Pokemon can now unpause evolution. Mega Adino's ability has been changed to Regenerator, and lastly, Walking Wake, Iron Leaves and Beldon Line catch rates are increased. I'm eager to figure out what evil teams tweaked Entales exactly, but hopefully we get some more details about that in different sections of the patch notes. For the move implementations and fixes, we now have Tar Shot, Throat Chop, Power Shift, and After You fully implemented. Betty Bad no longer activates Reflect if protected. Burning Bulwark, King Shield, Obstruct and Silk Trap no longer protect against status moves. I had no clue they did. I could have definitely abused that in some of my challenge runs, but either way, I guess that's fair. Retaliate has been fully implemented. Freezy Frost received some bug fixes. Roost now removes the flying type. Interesting. Is that how it works in mainline Pokemon games? Oh, I just answered my own question because I had a little look on Bulbapedia and it says if a flying type Pokemon successfully uses Roost until the end of the turn, its flying type is ignored when it's hit by attacks. Guard Swap and Power Swap now swap appropriate stats, and Substitute and Shed Tail are fully implemented. Protect moves now properly protect missed moves. Shell Sidearm, Heal Block, Chilly Reception and Automatize. Autotomize! What in the world? How do you even pronounce that? Autotomize. Autotomize. Okay, there we go. Are fully implemented. Dragon Tail now respects Suction Cups. Torment, Taunt and Imprison have been implemented, and Heal Orders PP has been reduced. Once again, another humongous batch of move implementations, and I think we're actually getting rather close to having every single Pokemon move implemented, so that's pretty awesome. Great job, developers. Now for the ability changes and implementations, trapping abilities work on enemies again. Primal Weathers no longer persist if the last Pokemon faints due to indirect damage. Gorilla Tactics has been implemented. Stat protection abilities now take Contrary into account. Seed Sower no longer crashes the game when hit by switch out moves in trainer battles. Lure abilities now function like new lures. Synchronize has been implemented. Ability ignoring effects no longer ignore its own abilities. Type absorbing abilities trigger even if the attack misses, and Aroma Veil has been implemented. We are getting some new Mysterie encounter items. Oh my, that sounds juicy. Eviolite no longer works on or spawns for Gmax Pokemon. Golden Punch NAN bug fixed, not sure what that means, and lures no longer show up if you have a lure of the same type with 60% plus of its duration. Yo, that lure change is actually coded. Of course, this update also comes with a bunch of quality of life updates. You get a lot more localization. They fixed the art for Cursula, Spinda, Lycanroc, Clanging Skills, Surfetched, Poliwrath, Kirlia, Skorupi, Krogunk, Toxicroak, Arceus Fairy, Vanillite, Tyrant, Tyrantrum, Minior, Silvally, Galarian Articuno, Galarian Zapdos, and lastly Galarian Moltres. I'm eager to see all of those art changes. Nice. Passive abilities now show up by default in Starter Select. Transform SFX now plays on quiet form changes. Added sound effects for unlocking passives. That's cool. The candy upgrade icon now updates after purchasing eggs. Your run history UI now accommodates gamepad icons. The run history now displays nature's change during a run. The egg skip option is added to the settings, which is huge. No more accidental egg skip hatch skipping, as we can now directly hatch all eggs automatically with a setting. XP gain skip option works properly now. Oh my days, this is probably the biggest part of the update for all of you Endless Mode enjoyers. This is huge. I think like half of my playtime has gone to waiting for experience to be received by my team, so yeah, that's great. The IV graph has been resized in the Starter Select menu. Tutorials darken the screen now. Whenever you catch a Pokemon, you can now see at which wave you have encountered it. The window is auto-centered when playing in Landscape mode. What the frick is Landscape mode? They added and fixed scrolling in the UIs. Added move descriptions by pressing C. That's awesome. Arrows added in Challenge menu. Form names now show up properly in Starter Select, and there's more splash text. Now for the other bug fixes, Scrappy and other type affecting abilities are fixed in inverse mode. Defensive type properties of terrestrialized Pokemon now apply. Fixed the bug of all Pokemon becoming invisible after catching and switching out unfainted Pokemon. Hidden ability icon now shows up in Egg Summary. Fixed Manaphy rare egg move and species rates. Wait, does that mean that the the odds of getting a Manaphy weren't 1 in 8 and the raids were broken or something. Tate and Lisa now use proper seeded RNG, who are gym leaders. They fixed reloads removing weather on the first wave of a biome. They fixed the run history not saving properly. Pokemon info container ability check now matches battle info ability check. I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean. Fix the bug of candy count being incorrect when not skipping egg hatch animation. Fix the bug of sturdy and endure granting extra stat boosts on bosses. Wow, that's nasty, those bosses be cheesing. Added missing snow worker dialogue and fixed the game freezing when replacing your first Pokemon. This update also came with a lot of passive, egg move and starter cost changes. Now, it's so much that we're not gonna dive into all the details as it would require an entire video on its own. But if you want to read about all the specifics and all the changes, links can be found in the video description. To sum it up, 15 Pokemon had their passive changed, 90 Pokemon had their egg moves changed, yeah, that's a lot, and Darkrai, Meloette and Cosmog had their starter cost increased from 6 to 7, thanks to recent changes in both the last update and this update. Supposedly they got stronger, is my guess. All the details about mystery encounters can be found on the PokeRogue wiki, which is also linked in the video description, but as the developers say, I also highly recommend to just play through it yourself and yeah, don't spoil your experience. In addition to the mystery encounters, set waves in Classic will now have set higher tier rewards. On wave 25, which is the second rival, you get at least 1 Ultra and 2 Great Ball tier items. On wave 55, which is the third rival battle, you get at least 2 Ultra and 2 Great Ball tier items. On wave 95, which is the fourth rival battle, you get at least 4 Ultra Ball tier items. After the first evil team boss at wave 115, you get 2 Rogue Ball tier items and 3 Ultra Ball tier items. After completing wave 145, you get 3 Rogue Ball tier items and 2 Ultra Ball tier items. And after beating the second evil team leader at wave 165, you get a lock capsule, guaranteed, 2 Rogue Ball tier items and 4 Ultra tier items. And lastly, after beating the final rival battle at wave 195, you get at least 2 Rogue Ball tier items, 2 Ultra Ball tier items and 2 Great Ball tier items. Forget about the at least part, as none of these can upgrade tiers from luck or by chance of the initial rolls, so they're just fixed state items. But still, that's actually amazing. I don't know how I feel about the lock capsule though, that's kinda, I don't know, it's really not that useful in classic mode. Well, remember when I said at the beginning the game just became a lot harder, so hopefully they compensate, and they definitely did, because these fixed item tier rewards are, yeah, gonna help out so much, especially for newer players that still have to progress their account. Right, so the evil team tweaks from earlier are gonna get some more clarification here. There have been so many major and minor adjustments to every evil team that it would take forever just to list them all here. So if you want to do your research, I'd recommend checking out the following pull requests, which is basically GitHub change logs, and all the devs clarify why they made certain changes to evil teams and what has exactly changed. All of these pages are linked in the video description once again if you want to have a look for yourself. Note that they also state that the wiki will have them all updated sometime in the next few days, hopefully, so keep an eye out. And ongoing runs will have their evil teams randomized with the addition of a new one. So if you don't like looking at GitHub logs, you can simply wait for the wiki update. We've already covered the daily mode changes, however, what is up with the Gigantamax Pokemon and related changes? Eviolite no longer works for compatible Gigantamax forms. This includes Pikachu, Meowth, Eevee and Duraludon. Disabled Eviolite from spawning for Gigantamax form species after they are transformed. Right, this actually makes a lot of sense, because Eviolite was just popping up left and right without me having a clue why. Removed all Gigantamax form immunities. This applies to all forms, yes, even Eternatus. So that means we can now flinch Eternatus. Nice. The main reason of these G-Max nerfs is to make them more equal to Megas, and not to have almost random immunities that need to be accounted for in unrelated situations, since they existed to match mainline Pokemon games. All Gigantamax Pokemon have had their weight set to the maximum of 999.9 kilograms. For simplicity and parity, in interactions regarding interactions with moves or abilities. I am curious to figure out what exactly that means for weight-based moves, because aren't they gonna deal like omega damage right now? Many evolutions have had their methods reworked or adjusted. Please check the full details and they can be found in this spreadsheet. Once again, a link to this spreadsheet can be found in the video description. But the main idea here, of course, is overall balancing. So mons that were really difficult to evolve are kind of easier to evolve. Mons that were really easy to evolve might be a little bit more difficult to evolve. I would like to highlight one of these changes in particular, which is how Gimmighoul evolves in Goldango now. Instead of having to gain 70 friendship, it will now evolve once you have collected 10 treasure items. So these are basically any items from the shop that give you gold, and they have to be picked up with Gimmighoul in your party. I think this is such a cool, creative and thematically accurate evolution method. It really fits Gimmighoul. Awesome. However, 10 might be a little bit too many, but we'll see how it plays out. Mega Audino's ability has been changed to Regenerator from Healer, with a request from the developers to now use Audino because it's probably fun. So yeah guys, go use Audino. In addition to that, Heal Order's PP has been reduced from 10 to 5. This changes to align the move with other similar healing moves for the purpose of mystery encounters, fusions, egg move distribution, and more. We get a couple changes to catch rates. Beldum, Metang, and Metagross have had their catch rates lined up with Frigibax, Archibax, and Excalibur, respectively, up from 3 across the board to 45, 25, and 10, respectively. Wakey Wakey and Iron Leaves have also had their catch rates aligned with similar class Pokémon, up from 5 to 10, to match with Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Iron Boulder, and Iron Crown. Some Gmax Pokémon have had their stat adjustments in regards to the previous changes. Gmax Venusaur's ability Chlorophyll has been changed into Effect Spore, as requested to give a unique ability and to aid its hit-taking capabilities. Okay, so that's a straight up buff to Gmax Venusaur, nice. Gmax Charizard's ability has been changed to Berserk from Solar Power. I guess that's a slight buff too. Gmax Blastoise now has +5 defense and -5 special defense added to its base stats. Gmax Lepra's ability has been changed to Shield Dust from Shell Armor, and it lost 10 defense, 10 special attack, and it got +20 special defense. This change was namely made to get rid of the extreme similarities between Gmax Blastoise and Gmax Lapras. Gmax Eevee got +5 HP and -5 attack BST, which is a minor compensation for losing Eviolite. And lastly, Gmax Duraludon gained +5 attack, +1 defense, +9 special attack, +3 special defense, and -18 speed. These may seem random, they kinda do, especially the +1 defense, what? But it's not random because the devs had to work around Eviolite. Will these patch notes ever end? What the frick, it's already a 70-minute video, Netter. Well, it could have been a lot longer if we actually dove into all the documents and such, but yeah, I won't do that to you guys. Last slide, I promise. So the other changes. Added support for the AI to be able to run simulated damage calculations and support for the AI to be smarter in searching for KOs. So yeah, I knew about the latter part, but the former is interesting too. The short of this is that it means the AI won't just press a random button, and there will be slightly less switching on trainers' parts. Right, so I got that one correct. If you have played on the beta, you'll barely have even noticed the difference at all. Yeah, I don't really think I noticed. This is just a small part of improving the game's AI, and we hope to continue to make it feel fair to the player with further improvements. Nice, there's always room for improvement. Covered the PokeRogue. Meloetta can now start as Pirouette form on the starter select after you have used the form once to unlock it. And lastly, abilities with the lure effect now match the chances of regular lures and act as a replacement for one tier of them as long as your lead Pokemon has them. These abilities are Arena Trap, No Guard, and Illuminate. All in all, we just got another banger of an update, to put it lightly. The changes I like the most are the automatic X skip, the experience gain skip, and the improved AI. Needless to say that the mystery encounters are absolutely amazing. Hopefully we will get some more information on the Endless Mode revamp next month. What are your thoughts on this PokeRogue patch? Please share them in the comments down below. I stream on both YouTube and Twitch almost every day, starting around 9 PM Central European time. If you would like to have a chat behind the scenes and join an awesome community of Pokemon fans alike, feel free to hop into our community Discord. The link is in the video description. As always, thank you so much for watching my content. Please drop a sub and like the video if you want to see more in the future. Till next time, champ!